live and share the screen. Okay, so we're ready to go. So thank you very much for joining me today. It's the first full week back as the markets open after Christmas. So still a little bit erratic and wicky and a little bit slow, but then sudden bursts, quite a lot of political situations going on, as we know, in the Middle East, and with President Trump due to talk tomorrow. So let's just have a look at Forex Factory first of all. You should always check this first. So today is Wednesday, the 8th of January, and we have news coming up. Now I'm on Paris time, so in 15 minutes we've got USD red flag news, so that makes us very wary of trading the US. So I may have to avoid US pairs because of that, because normally we would avoid them 1 hour before and 1 hour afterwards. So that is coming up in 15 minutes. So with that in mind, let's start off because we've got the USD news in 15 minutes. I'm very wary of trading that. We can have a look at some of the pairs, but I don't recommend that we trade them. If you do want to learn how to trade the news strategy, then Chance Agonan, I trade with him a lot. He's one of the top 1% educators. He's on channel 20 on Go Live on IM, and on Friday he will be on at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, which if you're in the UK, he's going to be trading non-farm payroll with us on Friday. He had the week off at Christmas, so he's making up quite a lot of live trading sessions. And we asked him to do New York, because normally he's on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings just doing London. That's at 8 a.m. UK time, so I'm always on those sessions. And I've been on every session of theirs. I think I've only missed them literally a handful for a year now. So USD non-farm payroll on Friday. If you want to learn how we trade the news strategy on 1 minute candle, you can often catch 40 or 50 pips. But if you're not an advanced trader, if you are fairly new, then I suggest you take it on demo, but that's on Friday. So let's start off with our pairs, bearing in mind that we probably don't want to actually trade. We can take them on demo, but we don't want to trade to get practice, to get education. This is all about you being self-sufficient. So the live traders would come on and give you this information. We also recommend that you use the position size calculator, MyFX book, to work out your lot sizes. If you need any help on that or TradingView, how to set up TradingView, please come and see me separately and I'll be happy to help you if anyone's a member of the Ninja team that wants that. So let's look at Euro EN, Euro NZD. Now, in order to talk to you about this chart, which isn't moving much at all, I'm on the 1 minute there. Forgive these vertical lines, it's a software glitch on TradingView. It happens when price, you can see price at the moment is bouncing off this very strong line of support and resistance called the quarter theory, and that's because banks settle up. You'll see a 50 pip gap between each orange dotted line, and they really are just an easy way of, you literally just put the indicator on. If you've got the free version of TradingView, you'll only be able to have 3 indicators, and so we recommend that you go for the BYOB settings as your main indicators. But you can see here, just turn it on and turn it off, and then here it gives me the figures up here of where quarter theory applies to this price. So what else can we learn? Let me make sure I've got the candles on. Haikanashi, let's look at BYOB on this. I don't know why it's turned back to those. I just want to put my candles back on the colour they should be, then we have uniformity. Just let me get this back. This is a pair that I trade quite a bit, so I don't know why it's done that. Let's just quickly do that, won't take me 1 second. Haikanashi is on, the Ninjacator, our beautiful Ninjacator is on, our SAR flip is on, and let's put the stochastic on, and then I'll just go up to the 1 minute. Now I've taken a couple of trades this morning. One of them got me 9.3 pips and the other one I got 18 pips, and I can show you why I got out of the trade, because it doesn't matter whether you're using BYOB or well, obviously we recommend that, but if you use a couple of other little tweaks, then it will help you just grab those extra pips, particularly on exit, and you will be able to really make quite a lot more over the course of the month, the quarter and the year. So I'm on the 15-minute now. I'll get rid of that because you don't need to see that pitchfork. Fewer lines the better. System's a little bit slow because of having Zoom on. There we are. So at the moment it's in this scan. If I take you out to the hour, and that scan was drawn the 2nd of January, back to the 15-minute, and we can see the stochastic is in the extreme. Now, as Paul said this morning, we like it really to be, you know, outside this box here. It's just at the top, because that's telling you what price is doing, that it's moving slightly sort of less on its bands of movement, and you'll see that reflected in the Bollinger Bands constricting. So that might make you a bit cautious about getting into a trade, because you're not sure how many pips it's going to go. And if the band is constricting like here, it's in fact echoing. You can see it quite clearly that really price is moving sideways in a channel, and it's just consolidating. So you may have 10 pips there, and you can see it on the 15-minute. It hasn't really, you see this is a better one. You've got more movement, as you can see here. If it's outside the box, you're going to get more movement. You can see that there. So what's this telling us on the 15-minute? We've got a buy down there, which came up earlier this morning as London opened. It's now coming up to touch the 15-minute EMA. You needn't bother about this if you don't use it, and that's the 1 minute. But what it says to me is that price really wants to start coming down, because I've got a downward trend on the 62, but the pitchforks are the scan. Needn't worry about pitchforks too much, but they do help me a bit on exits, is going up. So we probably want to wait for this now. We've missed that buy, but let's see what's happening on the 5-minute. This is a fast moving pair. It's about a 10 in ordinary times. I think Kevin was on this morning, Kevin Orman, who created this indicator for us, and he said to ignore the 80 and the 20. So it hasn't peeled correct the software. So we're just looking really for it to say red for a sell and green for a buy. That's all we need to worry about. So this is looking quite interesting, except we've got wiki candles, which means it's not a solid bottom. Apart from that, we do have other confirmations. We've got it just about over to the 80. You should have the 100 showing there. And we have the SAR flip, but we only have, unless, let's just go into a zoom in. We do have a flat bottom candle there. So we could look at taking this, but the only thing I don't like is that it is above the 62, so you just have to make your own judgments. But you've got 7 pips. It's not a lot of pip range down to the pitchfork. So when I'm trading, I do tend to take notice of my other little bits of confirmations that I put around BYOB. Pitchforks are very strong, aggressive trend lines. They are stronger than trend lines because they're based off Fibonacci. They have them built into them, so they are very precise if they've been drawn correctly. So price has to struggle. It has to say it's going to bash straight through, in which case you can see here it drops down then quite a bit, or it will reject off that and come back up. So on the 5-minute, as you would expect on a very short time frame, you're only going to have about 3 to 5 pips on this, and it's above the 62 as well. So not a really good trade for numbers of pips, but you can see it's just coming down on the second one there, but you've got a wick on that candle. So that's saying that orders aren't being filled so much. So I would suspect because it's wicked there. And what time are we at now? Just let's look at what the hourly candle did. Where did the hourly candle close? So we had quite a small hourly candle, and it was still in a buy, and it has wicked at the top. So again, the volume has decreased because it doesn't like quarter theory there. It's just wicking through it. So at the moment, it's sort of bobbing along. So I don't think there's a trade for us. The only trade at the moment would be on the 5-minute for about 3 to 5 pips. But be wary of it because it's above the 62, which again is flatlining, and the stochastic is already nearly halfway down between the 80 and the 20. So I don't want to put that on the watch list at the moment. I don't think there's anything much there. AUD NZD, I'm not very keen on this pair because they are very similar currencies. I can't remember if they've got a technical name or not. I think they have. So I don't usually like to trade this pair, but I for some reason, I can't remember now, I was looking at it this morning. So let me just go on to the, I don't know why this is, I thought I had changed all these. Just get my handles back to standard. So we've got our stochastic on. We're on the 15-minute. We can see it's well outside the box, so that's a nice indication on this one. If it's below the 62, it's rejecting off that, and it says sell, but has it got a flat bottom candle on the 15-minute? Yes, it has. So, and we've got the SAR flip quite close to price. So although it's come up here, it's just testing the 62. So that's quite good for a sell. So I'm only going to go on demo because I've done 9 plus 18. I've done 26 pips today, and I aim for 25 a day. So either I would only put a 0.01 live on this, or I would, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on demo. So let me go to one of my demo accounts, JFX, AUD NZD, AUD NZD, new order, and let's just put, I'll leave it at 5. I tend to leave it at 5 on this. So sell by market, immediate execution, and then what we're going to do is check the price we got in at. Write that down on your sheet. So AN 1.03356, and then you want to put your stop loss just above the previous SAR. I tend to go for 10 pips. So let me just grab this and move it back to the 15-minute here, and then I go to the settings, inputs, and it's just a style, but I 3356, 3356, always double check your figures. Profit level, I'll put 20 down, it's just because what I normally do, so that'd be 200 points. Stop loss 100 points. Don't worry about what points are particularly, other than knowing it's just the bit to the right of the pip indicator, so it's the smallest percentage. So that's now giving me a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And what else was I going to say? Something else I was going to say about that. Yeah, 103. So 103.456. So because it's a sell, our stop loss is going to go above our stop loss, above our price. 1.034. No, 366 it should be, shouldn't it, if I'm in a sell? 103.356. Oh yeah, 103.456. 456. 10 points above there. And what I want to do is sweep that onto the screen so we can keep an eye on it. I've got the SAR flip on here. That's actually on the minute chart. Let's see what it says on the 15. You can see the SAR flip there. There's the 62. I just like to set my charts up nice on MT4 so I can just keep an eye on them. So it's in a drawdown of -2 at the moment. So we'll just leave that. Now what I like to do, I'm not sure it's going to work on this one, horizontal line, 103356, so 103156 would be 10 pips. I always do this exactly the same. That can't be 10 pips, can it? Where's my, something's gone wrong there, I think. Oh, it's because it's hidden. Let me just get that off there. 10 pips would be 103356, 103256, 103256. This is how I always trade. I follow exactly the same procedure. It's lost my line. I always put a horizontal line on in blue, 103256. You can always alter it. I add an alert, then I can hear that go off, and that's the point at which, let me show the settings. I do exactly the same thing every time. 103256, 10 pips. I've got the alert on. I clone this, and then I put it here, 103356 was the point at which, that's price, 356, so 346, round about there, 345 is where I will move my stop loss to stop profit, and then I'm in a risk-free trade. But I only do that if it goes 10 pips. I don't do it otherwise. So, okay, well, let's see what happens with that. At the moment, you can see it's just coming back up to test that again. If I go out to the hourly, we have got a downward scan, so I like that. It's a momentum trade. It's wicked out on the hourly, so that's the hourly, but you can see here, you know, nice long strong candle down, so we're probably good for a few pips on that. Right, so that's ORD NZD. We're in for a sell. I've written the price down, and I would say that because we're on the 15-minute, let me put the pivots on. Your number of pips will be dictated either by hitting the line of support and resistance. So I think this might be okay for the 20 pips, but I don't know because the market's a bit strange. It probably, this is the first week back, but it might wick to that 10 pips on the 15-minute at the moment. But there it hit perfectly to the pitchfork down there, you can see, but I obviously, who knows, and it is, where is my, let me just go back to the 1 minute to see where they, so you can see it, although it's leveling off now, it's testing the 15 minutes, which is always a good sign when it tests the 15 minutes, although it is pushing up to the edge of the Bollinger Band. So it is retracing at the moment. This is on the 1 minute, and it is outside our bands there. And on the 5 minutes, wicking out, it says a buy on the 5 minutes. So we're just going for the next one up, the 15 minute, where we've got the SAR flip. We had the flat bottom candle down to there, so that might have finished the move on the 15 minute, and here it's probably going to bump along a bit. So we'll see what happens on that. I only took it on demo. GBP NZD, let's just work our way along. GN. Again, we've got it hitting quarter theory, so it's to do with the software on the system on Trading View. I'm on the 1 minute. I find that what I prefer, I'm very happy to teach BYOB, I absolutely love it, but because I've done this system for so long now, I just need to get my eye in on how I would normally trade and then overlay the BYOB, and I've decided that kind of works best for me to get my bearings. Just take off an old line there. So on the, this is the hourly chart, we had a downward scan. It came right out of that. I've faded out the lines. It's just out of those extensions, but it's coming back into it, and it starts to hit a bigger previous scan. So the 15 minute is normally where I will look for setups. So there's your D point that was drawn at the beginning of January. It's you can see how it rejected off the quarter theory perfectly, once, twice, 3 times. So that's saying sell. It came once it come down through the pitchfork. Now normally I take trades mostly once the 62 has crossed down over, because then I know it's much safer trade. I will put on RBYOB. And let's change the, at the moment it's coming back up to the 62. It's got the pitchfork and the quarter theory. This is actually quite a good, 15-minute, quite a good sell situation at the moment. Let me put the Fibonacci on, switch on the stochastic, the SARS, and the indicator. Take that lock off. So on the 15-minute, it is telling us that, let me just get that line up here. Oh, wants to increase the stochastic, and I can't find the, I wanted to make that a bit bigger. Let's just, there we are. That's better. Take that off. I was looking at another day. So on the 15-minute, we have on GN, we have a SAR flip to the upside on the 15-minute. On the 1-minute, just see what the 62 is doing. So at the moment on the 62, it's below, it crossed below back here at 8:32, just when London was opening. So it wants to go down. It's coming back up to retest that pitchfork. So if we look here, we've had, since London opened, 1, 2, this is called slippage when it goes through the other way. You've got quarter theory and a pitchfork, so very strong indication that price wants to go down. There's 3, and there's your 4th test of the pitchfork and the quarter theory. So if you wanted any more confirmation of saying, please sell me, and I don't know what what else you want. It's way above the stochastic there. Let's get the 100 showing, and you can see it's just about, SAR hasn't flipped yet. I'm on the 1-minute. Let's see what's happening on the 5. So it's still saying buy, but you can see that it's, in fact, I've got a pale green pitchfork. It's got 2 pitchforks it's rejecting off there. It hasn't quite finished its move up. And on the 15-minute, it is not coming up to the above the range on the stochastic. It's still saying well, SAR flip, but we haven't got actually a buy coming up there. But it's still wicking through. It doesn't like it. It's got a short body candle with a big wick. And on the 30-minute, we've got the 62 now coming down below the 15-minute EMA, average moving price over that number of days. That usually only works on the best on the 15-minute chart, obviously the blue one, and I use the 62 mostly, so it's just coming down through quarter theory. So I quite like that for a sell. Let's go back to the 15-minute, but we should really wait for the SAR to flip and keep an eye on the time. So it's wicking through quite a lot up there. It's just done that on the 15-minute candle. So that's on the buy candle. So that's saying it's weak volume on the buy, but you can see the stochastic is in the middle, and the SARs are underneath. So normally when I'm getting in on a trade, I will go to the 1-minute and I will see whether the trend's going to reverse. it's just peeking out, isn't it? It seems to still want to shoot up. So I don't know if it's going to go up to that other extension again. It hasn't reached that outer extension. I always think of extensions as similar to Bollinger Bands, but it did come up there, that was this morning in Asian session. It went right up above that outer extension and hit the next quarter theory, and then it's been working its way down. So it does want to sell. I know on BYOB we don't take it on such a low time frame. That's than 5 minutes, probably our minimum. SAR hasn't flipped yet, but we could look at it. Let's see how our other one's doing. Minus 2.4, moving slow. So that's still saying buy on the 5 minute, still saying it wants to go up on the 5 minute. Although it is at the outer edge of the Bollinger Band, it's wicking through the quarter theory and 2 pitchforks. So that's a lot of resistance for price to say it still wants to carry on up to hit that outer extension again. So I'm expecting that to turn any minute. Blue ones are your upward candles. See how much we've got. 3 minutes left on that 5 minute candle. 62 has just turned up again a little bit and it is still saying buy. But on the 1 minute, which gives you the most recent trend, you can see it's just flipped. So the 1 minute is your most real-time view of the charts. What happens on the 1 minute? Well, there you are. There's your sell signs just come up on the 1 minute. So I'm happy to get in that trade and put the normally what I would do is wait and look at the pivots. So on the pivots, I haven't got a new high yet, but really we should wait, I suppose, till it comes down through quarter theory, and then what you'll find, you can see the SAR flip there and the flat bottom candle, and it's in the extreme. So that's definitely a sell with our confirmations. But to be safe, we might want it just to get the candle to close just the other side of the quarter theory point, just to show it's really going to push down. So I might get in on this on the live account, but then that means I've got to keep an eye. I've got to keep an eye on it, and I'm not totally confident always of doing that on these live sessions yet, because normally my trades move quite quickly. I'm such a scalper, as you know. But that has flipped. We've got the sell, we've got the flat bottom candle, we've got it outside the 80. It's just coming down now on the 1 minute below this quarter theory. I'll put a short position on. Let's see what that looks like round about here. So we're well covered on our stop loss on I call them our invisible lines. It is a GBP pair. I normally do allow, that's why I'm not so fond of trading GBP. You do have to allow a bigger stop loss, 15 instead of my usual 10, and then your 20, you could put it down. It might even go down to but the markets are still a bit funny this first week back. They'll be normal from about 14th next Monday. 1.97 flat would be your TP range, TP2, TP3, let's call it TP2 at 20, and 10 pips for your, it's just hitting the quarter theory, 10 pips for your TP1. So if I stop sharing for a moment, I could get in that. I'll do a low lot size just in case I can't. Well, I'll put the stop loss on. So it's just moving down now, and I do like it to 1.74, 1.974, stop loss at 1.97575, call it that, I can always adjust it, and take profit at 1.97225. So if I just stop sharing for a moment, then I can just go on one of my other accounts. So I'll put it on that one. So that's GN for a sell. GN there, new order. Oh, hang on. I done, whoops. Hang on, get that right. From 457450. I'm going to have to put all my stop loss and take profit in 1.97 7650, make that 15 and take profit at 1.97225. 225. I'm not sure it's exactly ping on because let me just, and that's shooting up at the moment, -8. Right, let me go back to sharing. Share screen, share. So at the moment it's coming back up to test again. 1.976. I've got it round about here, I think. And still pressing down there, and I had that at 225, so it's approximately correct. Right, so let's go back to, so we're in that at the moment. Let's go back to the 5 minute. The SAR hasn't flipped on the 5 minute, and on the 15, what's it telling us? It still wants to come up a bit. So who knows, but that's got a buy on it on the 15, but that's the way I'm used to trading. So what I'd probably do is, I've set a 15 pip, I've got 2 more pitchforks and the quarter theory. Oh, let me put my lines on. So normally what I do is horizontal line at 10 pips, 42450, I think of 450, 350, 350. Just put that there with an alert so I can go and see if it's actually doing anything. Alert, add alert. There. So we'll see what happens with that. What's happening with our -2.5 on our AN, -2.6, so not a lot of movement going on there. Euro JPY, got that next. Let's go to the 15 minute. So I'm in 2 trades now, 1 demo and live, so I don't usually ever get in more than 3 trades at once, and that's only at a pinch. I normally do just 1 or 2 myself because I don't do long trades at all. And then I've got a similar situation here on Euro JPY, where we've got a nice pitchfork coming down off quarter theory. Let's have a look where the scan was. On the scan on the 1 hour, the 62's crossed above, which is a sign price wants to buy, but you can see it's going to struggle to get through these 2 lines, the pitchfork and the quarter theory, and in fact it's rejected off. It's done a break and a retest, so I'm expecting that that will want to come down again. It's going to struggle quite a lot to get above that, but let's see where the chart was, and in fact it was a downward scan. You can see on the hourly price has respected now that pitchfork and quarter theory, so that same price wants to come down. It's in an older scan than that one. So let me have a look at, let me just lock that on. I'm sure I have got everything locked on. It was this scan here, which is a big scan, and that's from the 21st of October, where each pitchfork, just think of them like trend lines, is 120 pips instead of the minimum normal 20. So that's 6, 2, 6 of 12, 6 times as big, one pitchfork. So that's phenomenally big scan. And then you, as you can see, you can find the smaller scans can sit within it, but you'd still always follow the most recent scan. But it's come out of the most recent scan unless I drew what you call a second pitchfork pointing up, which I don't need to do, because as you can see, it's respected quarter theory. It's come down to that big old pitchfork scan that we saw, the massive scan, rejected off quarter theory, come back up to quarter theory. There's 100 pips there, come down, broken and retested quarter theory, dropped 50, come back down, consolidated along the pitchfork, respected the pitchfork and quarter theory. I mean, it's trended very nicely, up 100, and that must be 125 pips. Look to the pip, it's respected perfectly there. Broken and retested quarter theory, dropped the levels again, down to quarter theory. Quite a lot of wicking going on today. Come back up to quarter theory, pushed down by the 62. It's touched the 62 as a retest, and now it's coming down, it's touching the 15 minute and quarter theory and that outer extension. So there's our sort of storyline. And if we go to the 15 minute and make sure we've got our BYOB on, let me just put I've got the Heikin-Ashi on. Let's switch the stochastic on the 15 minute. Where are you? Just want to get the yeah, I don't know why it's gone, why I've got it going right down there. $14.33. Oh, okay. Don't know. That's better. I'm very narrow. There we are. 80 and 20 we want showing, and the 100. There we are, 80, 20 and the 100. So it should be more like that. So it has come up over and above. We've got the sellers in control. We've got the sellers in control and the buyers are underneath. It's just flattening out in the middle, showing us that the pip range is getting smaller. On the 15 minute, it's rejected off the 62. It's coming back up there. Let me look at the pivots high and low. But so the question is, if it's doing all that rejecting, does it really want to push back up to this quarter theory? And the answer is, from what we've seen, is probably not. We're in that very big scan, and its previous low is down here. So what you can do, let's put our SARS on. So the SARS, and we had a flat bottom candle there. We didn't have it lining up with it being over. It was overbought when you had a wicked candle on those strong lines of support and resistance. And we've got the SAR flip, no flat bottom candle, so no trade for us on this at the moment on the 15 minute. As you probably expect, we're coming out of London, we're not in Asian session. It's probably, finished quite a lot of its moves today, but we're looking at them because, so I've got an alert coming up on GN. So let's go back to GN, because that's showing us it's hit my 10 pips. So I now need to move I'm going to move if I clone that, I'm going to move my stop profit. So that means I've got a risk-free trade. I'm going to move it to, and I'm only doing it perhaps not quite as precise as I would normally do, and that's on my live account, so I need to stop sharing. I'm 11 pips up now, so modify order, stop loss in at 1.9740. I'll call it 400 flat just in case it takes me out. I have got the take profit in. So I don't know if any of you got in or even on demo, but that's nice for me to start. Let's just watch that for a bit. I'm on the 1 minute. So it said sell up there. It's bottoming out down here. There's your 62. it's hitting quarter theory. Is that hitting quarter? Is that a quarter theory point? I can't see, or is that just price? There is an old pitchfork there. I just want to watch this as it's a live account to see if it is it's touching the 50 on the Bollinger Band, and it's bottomed out here. So it should run down a bit more, although we've got the 62 coming up. So it might have said, in fact, I think I might, because that's a little pitchfork there. So I'm going to stop share, and actually I'm going to, in fact, it's just taken me out. So I got, let me just look at the pips on that. 1.97450, and it was out. Oh, so 1.974. So didn't do very well on that because I moved the stop loss too tight. And that's me trying to trade live. But, you know, it was nice to see that we probably could have got in, if we'd have got in on that flat bottom there, here, we could have grabbed a few more pips. But the reason I got out, as I say, is you can't see it here. You do look at the most recent. This is what I'm saying about if you learn any system, and yes, of course, take trades. That's what we're here to do. But teach to be yourself to be self-sufficient. Then you will be able to see a couple of other little things. If I bring up this old pitchfork, why did I get out then and not think that it would run further? Because I had an old pitchfork. It's rejected off it perfectly. I know how accurate pitchforks are. I'm not saying use pitchforks. You don't have to at all. Use, you know, let me just get rid of that alert. But the point is that find some indicators that work for you so that you get the confidence to know, because I not only had it, number one, hit the pitchfork just past 10 pips. If I was doing this on my own without teaching, which is absolutely fine, I love it, and you know, watching it more closely and, you know, more precisely, I can see it's hit the 62 there, and it's hitting that pitchfork. It's done the 10 pips. I know it's the first week back. It's a bit of a funny market. I'm out the trade. And what, you know, and if you're doing BYOB, you can see it's turned upwards. It hasn't said yet buy, and I'm on the 1 minute. It hasn't turned to buy, but this is where you can save yourself those you can get those extra pips, because as soon as it flips up on the buy, you've probably lost, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 pips back. So on my own, doing this precisely, I probably could have got my 5 to 10 pips. But I'm pleased that we could call a live trade, and I did take it on a live account, and I'm able to show you the importance of finding other indicators to help you judge your exits accurately. And the only reason I'm staying on this is to see when the SAR flips for us, because it'll show you, if in fact the candle's forming here. It's testing it again, but it's coming along the same range. So we can leave that one for the moment, but I was going to show you how you would have lost, that's on a 10 pip range. I didn't measure it that accurately. Normally I do to the pip, make sure, because I'm using the same system over and over again. Then I could show you that, you know, you would have got an extra few pips there using some other indications other than just waiting for the indicator to flip back to the buy. So we can come back and look at that in a minute. So Euro JPY, let me look on JFX, minus 4.1. So we're about break even if you're looking at how you, this is the important thing about trading. Two wins, 1 loss, 1 break even, and you work to the same percentage formula, and you work out your lot sizes and work out your percentage gain compared to your stop loss. So I work on a 1 to 2, which is 1% stop loss on 10 pips stop loss, 2% gain, which is the 20 pips. So I know where I am. It's not about pip count, it's about your percentage compound growth on your account. So we're in EJ. wait a minute, sorry, AN, sorry, we're in AN, and I wanted to look at that. Just go back to AN. So AN is wicking out, testing back on that 62. There's our little bit of drawdown. It's still above on the 15-minute. So the SARS did flip, and we had the flat bottom candle, but it didn't move very far before it turned. So where's our Bollinger Band? Our Bollinger Band has turned in a bit, but it's still quite wide, and it's saying buy now. So is that an indication to get out of the trade? How long have we got? We've got 14 minutes on this new candle, so it is an upward candle. It might be coming back up to test that line there. But the good thing is we have got it peaking here. What's happening on the 5-minute? On the 5-minute, we had it wicked out there. We got it a flat bottom across the top of the stochastic, not quite as far up as we would like in the extreme. Just move that up a bit. There. But there's your edges of your Bollinger Band. So once it pings to the edge of the Bollinger Band, and that edge of the Bollinger Band is on that pitchfork. So you see how your indicators often do line up. So it will probably come up to that. Now, will it form a new high? Has the market decided it's turning round? I don't know. At the moment, it's saying buy. What we can do is, well, what I would normally do, I would go to you don't have to do this. It's just, when you're in something where you think, oh, is this a bit tricky? Should I stay in or should I decide I'm getting out? I don't often do that. I kind of stay in what I'm doing and, go with it. But let's just see if you take your previous low and your previous high, and you can look at where, if you want to sell, you can put you must be accurate with it. 401, you put a fib on when we want to find 318 there. So what we're looking at is what is it rejecting off. So it's wicked through, it's come right back up to the 100%. So it wicked off the 88. And it's broken through, and what's it doing on the 61? So actually that's not holding a fib there either. So that's not giving us any help on that at the moment. So it probably does want to push up. But we've got almost equal highs along here, and you can see the Bollinger Band there that's the 1 minute. Let's go back to the 15-minute. What did the Bollinger Bands do before? On 15-minute, just about held that pitchfork there. But it looks like it's peaking out. We've had one peak there, and it did hit down there. So, let's see what happens on that one. So let's go to just have a look on GN to see what happened. So you can see it's just chugging along, continuing to chug along that line. So I'm very glad I got in. I do not like sitting in trades. It's absolutely not my thing at all. I can't do it. It doesn't suit me at all. It's a personality thing, and I may as well have got out here than have sat for another, wherever I did get out, it was somewhere around there. Already, we've got another 10 minutes of sitting in trades. Well, how long is it going to just chuck there? Now it's saying buy. So price has finally made its mind up. It's now giving you that candle there. So if you've been in this trade, and this is a great example to show you, and let's take it off that pitchfork. Let's say I got out exactly on the pitchfork, which I probably would have done if I'd been trading on my own. So there, you've lost 2.9, you've lost 3 pips waiting for the buy. Doesn't sound a lot, does it? But as you go over a number of trades, 3 or 4 trades a day, times 5 days, times 20, times the month, times the quarter, times the year, those 3 pips will add up to a significant extra percentage. And there, look at that, coming right back up on your account. Okay, next pair, GBP, GA, EJ, GA, GA. What's GA doing? I think this must have been one I was in earlier, where I took, that might have been my, whatever it was, 16 pip one that I did this morning. So you can see I do exactly the same markups, every single trade, the same thing. Right, so let's have a look at what price is doing on this. On the hourly, this is an upward scan. Doesn't always mean that price is going to go upwards. It's what you call a momentum trade. If you're not doing a momentum trade, you're looking for a reversal. Sorry, this is a downward scan. Well, it's meant to be a downward scan, but it's not. It's an upward scan. But it hasn't hit the median yet. So in my rules, I'd only be looking for a buy, but that doesn't matter. We can look at it on BYOB. You can see it's in a price trap. It's being pinched between quarter theory and that pitchfork. So I'm expecting that it will go along, will go on a smaller time frame until it decides what it wants to do. Now it's retested that D point in between there and the quarter theory. Look how it respected that for 12 o'clock for over 24 hours. So 1, 2, 3 lots of break and retest for the quarter theory there. So here, off the D point on the 15 minutes, I'll change to BY, I'll add on BYOB now. 1, 2, 3, 4, telling you to sell 4 break and retest to the pip. It's respected that pitchfork. And quarter theory, because you've got the two happening together. And you can see here now it's pinched between these two. The 62 is pushing it down. So that to me is a nice little trade once it comes below here. But is it going to decide to do that, or does it want to carry on its upward trend and not come down to the medium at all? But for me, technically on my rules, I would only be looking to sell it. But that doesn't mean to say that your rules are the same. And I'm not sure where the D point ended up on. Yes, I think I drew that only this morning. That's right. So let me take the pivots off so we don't need any more confusion. And let's put our Heikenhashi on the 15 minute, add on our stochastic, see what that's telling us. Is that going to tell us it wants to buy or sell? So on the 15 minutes, it still says it wants to push up. Where's our SARS? Still underneath, small volume trading, caught in a price trap, running underneath the 62, respecting that perfectly. And let's put the indicator on. So what does that tell us? Now that says buy, but as you can see, and this is where other indicators can help you, it's caught in a price trap between the pitchfork. I'm not saying use pitchforks, you don't have to bother with them. It's just I'm lazy, and they are Fibonacci based, very aggressive trend lines, if you want to think of them like that. Easy to draw, just copy and paste onto the XCD, but then you've got to get into the pro version, unless you can draw them on the Harmonic Scanner. I don't think you, I know you put Fibonacci on. I've never done it that way. I've always done it on TradingView, so you may have to have the premium or the pro. But anyway, the point is that it's got to break through that quarter theory. So you've got pitchfork plus quarter theory, and the 62 price is currently below the 62, although it is quite far above the 15 minute one. So even on BYOB, I wouldn't want to get into that myself at the moment. Just trying to get the 80 to come up. There we are. So let's go down to the 5. Now the 5 says it's peaked, but you can see the volume range on the trading is smaller. It's not over the 80, and that's reflecting this price trap that we're in here, and your Bollinger Bands have constricted as well. So maybe one for the watch list I don't know whether it'll be a buy or a sell, but it's got to work its mind, it's got to make its mind up. And we are out of London session now, so until Asian session, it's got to make its mind up. So no trade, or GA, no trade. Let me go back to JFX, see what other one's saying. -6, so it's obviously creeping up. So I'm glad I took that on demo. Ord NZD, Ord NZD. So that's told us that it's peaked, it's come down, it's peaked again. Let me look, it's wicking off that pitchfork. So because I've got, and remember we are out of Asian session as well. So Ord NZD is a 7. I have to say it's not one that I trade very much at all, very infrequently. It doesn't really mean anything by saying that. That's saying a buy. It's come up to that pitchfork. What's happening on the 15-minute? On the 15-minute, it's decided it's buying. It's above the 62. It's on the outer edge of the Bollinger Bands, and price is peaking there on the so on the 5-minute. We're waiting for a SAR flip. So wait for the SAR flip, and hopefully it's on the 5-minute. It's going to come back down. It depends where you got in, how far down it's going to go, because on the 5-minute, you know, 5 to 10 pips. So I might be able to just get that back into profit, but I'll keep an eye on that at the moment. And then last one I'm going to look at, we'll do one more. See what's happened. Let's have a look and see what's happened on the news. Let me take that off. We don't need to look at that. That's on the 1-minute. So the news happened at 2:15 my time here. It's the 1-minute, 2:15. So it doesn't seem to have had a huge effect. It's under the 62. It's coming under the pitchfork. It is an upward scan. It has hit the median. It's just wicked down to the next level. In fact, although you see how it's respected the 62, and it's rejecting off that pitchfork. So it looks like it wants to go up, but who knows? And there it is on the 15 minutes. So let's just finish by putting our BYOB on to see what that's telling us. And the SAR. So that's about us done for the day. Just go back to that. EJ, I want to look at, nothing much happening on there. USDCAD. So that's telling us on the 15 minutes that it wants to sell. Just mindful of time, got to come off in a minute. It's coming up to the hour. I don't want to interrupt Sharon. We'll be on. So it peaked there. The SARs are saying the SAR is just flipped on the sell on the 15 minute. We have got wiki candles, very small candles. It's got a pitchfork there. So it's got to work its way through there. It's already come down, so it's nothing on the 15 minute. On the 5 minute, it's at the bottom. We'd be waiting for a flip up. The 30 minute says it's peaked and it wants to come down. So it's probably, and the hourly says peaked as well. Peaked. So it's probably going to, if that's your D point, it's hit that level. Market moves between levels. I can see a pitchfork there in pale green. You probably can't see it, but it probably wants to turn and come down. So there's your sell there on the 15 minute. And it would probably want to come down now between there and here, which is 15 pips. So USD CAD, I'll keep an eye on for a sell. And that's me done for today. I hope you enjoyed that and got value from it. Please give me a like or a comment if you did. So we've had one win and one I'm just trying to manage through. That's -8 at the moment. So we'll see what happens with that one, and a win on the other one. So fortunately picked the right way round to do demo and live. So please make your own decisions on your trades, and I hope that you're enjoying looking at the indicators that can help you get more profit. So I'm going to say bye for now, and thank you very much for joining.
Cheers, Sarah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.